Good morning, Unity Halton Peel. Let me share my screen with you and let us be together here in wonderful ways. And I'm not going to use the new tool Zoom's got for us because I haven't figured out the best way to do this yet. So I'm Wendy Carr. I'm a licensed Unity teacher. It is my honor and privilege to be your host and your guest speaker today. So let us get started by reminding ourselves why we are here. Our mission is to lovingly inspire transformation and be of service to the world. And let us just breathe into that transformation and ask Margaret to please share our daily word for today.
All right. Thanks, Wendy. Joy is mine throughout all seasons of life. Throughout my life, joy is always part of me, like the sun that is always shining. Even when obscured by clouds, joy is there in my happiest moments and also during my darker times. It keeps me present to life as it unfolds, responsive and adaptive, accepting what I cannot change and having the courage to change what I can. Much more than a feeling, joy is part of me, a way to feel the presence of God and live from my spirituality. Joy is an anchor that keeps me rooted in peace and wholeness, and the wings that help me soar through the open skies of imagination and choice. My spiritual identity has its foundation in the divine idea, of joy, and I carry it with me wherever I go and in everything I do. You show me the path of life, and your presence there is fullness of joy. Psalm 16, verse 11. Thank you.
Thank you. So our theme for this month is to pray for others. And from a daily word, March 30th of 1989, I pray for myself and others in a spirit of love and faith. And for those of you who are not familiar, this is Unity Tower. It was a water tower, still is, I believe. And it is a historic building at our world headquarters outside of Kansas City, Missouri. All right, I want to start with blessing our February babies and on your birthday. And I have a song for you. We're not going to sing happy birthday. I've got a different song for you.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every breath you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go, and the people you will know. Don't worry when or where or how. You don't have to know right now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out, just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. The reason you live. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing
All right. One of the challenges of stealing videos from other people is sometimes you don't realize what's there. All right. And a blessed unbirthday to all of the rest of us. Shades of Alice in Wonderland. Because we are all blessed and we are all made new every day as our cells regenerate and our air goes in and out of our lungs. All right, when I wrote this up, it was still cloudy, and I thought we're going to need something that's kind of, Caribbean, warmer, whatever. So we're going to go get a bigger pan.
I was standing by this fisherman out there on the bridge. He bagged small one after small one, put 'em in his little fridge. Well, then he caught himself a whopper, and I watched him throw it back. I couldn't help but ask him, "Hey man, why'd you do that?" He pulled out this little skillet and said, "See, it wouldn't fit. It was none of my business, but I couldn't help but wish he'd get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. When you got big dreams, for heaven's sake, don't throw those dreams back in the lake. It's not that you can't have it all, You just been dreaming way too small. Get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. I've been thinking like that fisherman more times than I can count. Every time I felt unworthy, ran myself down. I'd get afraid and wouldn't play what I had there on the line, thinking that the big fish couldn't possibly be mine. But there's another fish to fry, and there's another day. Next time I hook the big one, I won't let him get away. I'll get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. 'Cause I got big dreams, for heaven's sake. Won't throw those dreams back in the lake. It's not that I can't have it all, I've just been dreaming way too small. I'll get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. Uh-huh. Okay, I've got it figured out, for self-esteem as well as dreams and trout. Get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. When you got big dreams, for heaven's sake, don't throw those dreams back in the lake. It's not that you can't have it all, you've just been dreaming way too small. So get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. Get the bigger, get the bigger, get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan, get a bigger pan. Get a bigger pan. Great big. Huge.
All right. I do love that song. All right, so as I was telling Patty before we started, I've rewritten this talk 3 times now, so I'm not sure how this is going to end up. My goal for today was to draw briefly, just a little bit, on our 12 powers. And traditionally, strength has been the second power because, of course, Andrew was called second in the disciples. But because it's Valentine's Day this month, and because, you know, kids like to do Valentine's Day, you know, it's an excuse for extra arts and crafts, some ministries will use love. So I'm actually going to use both. And I'm actually going to take it in a direction you probably didn't see coming. So let's take a couple thoughts into mind as we explore. I have the strength to accomplish all that is mine to do. Sometimes I need to put this on my mirror, or sometimes I need to put a sticky on the back of my hand with this on it, just because sometimes life can feel overwhelming. And I think it's important for us on a regular basis to remind ourselves of these innate spiritual abilities, like strength, that they're there. We just have to wake them up. We just got to get a bigger pan and say, okay, yeah, I recognize that I have this ability, and I need to, you know, acknowledge it. I need to claim it. I need to align myself with it so that I can express it more clearly in the world. And the other one is, I am stronger than any challenge inside or out. And the two kind of go together. I think you would agree that, you know, just reminding yourself that you can overcome any challenge is a really, sometimes it feels overwhelming. Been there. Sometimes it can. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that sometimes it can. And then in the next breath, say, and I have this capacity to overcome any challenge. So I'm going to bump into a new narrative today. It is Black History Month, and I'm not Black. I get that. I understand that. I have Black cousins on both of my sides of my family. One came from Zambia, one came from Kenya. So I have had in the last few years some really interesting discussions as I have discovered my own ignorance around being Black. And for anyone on this call, if I have done anything that offended you out of my ignorance, I apologize. And I will do better going forward. I have apologized to both of my cousins because there were things that they experienced that I was completely ignorant of. And we've had some really interesting conversations these last few years. Black History Month. I'm not going to do Canadian Black history. I'm going to talk about Unity's history because I think it's really important, especially right now. There's some things happening at headquarters. We have our annual summit this week on Wednesday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday. Put that in the correct order. And one of the things that we are discussing is, what is unity? How do we present ourselves to the rest of the world? What is it that we truly believe at the core of our being? So what gives me the authority to share the Black history of unity in the States? Absolutely nothing culturally. I recognize it's not my story. And I do have a master's degree in history, so I know how to do research. I know where to look to find stories. I know how to read not only English, but I also read French. So sometimes I pull up something that's, been translated or was originally in French. And if I firmly believe that I, as a white person, do not make sure the story gets told, we run the risk that the story will disappear and that past hurt cannot be addressed and the current damage continues. And I bet when you logged into this or when you tuned into this, I bet you didn't think this was where I was going to go. This has been very much on my heart the last number of years. And even more so of late because of things that are happening in the States. One of my cousins is in the States. That cousin lives in Minneapolis. And at the risk of getting a little political, after the murder of George Floyd, I became acutely aware of how ignorant I had been. Because he has 2 Black sons. And their mom, my cousin, who's white, said, I never dreamed I would have to tell my boys how to act in their own country. So, why do we celebrate Black History Month? Black History Month dispels these terrible myths and in the process helps Black people to become prouder of themselves and their ancestors. And this is a two-sided coin for me. On the one hand, Unity has not done a good job in its early days. And I'm just going to say that outright. I'm horrified sometimes at what I find in the archives. And we're doing better in order to make to correct past errors, past misbeliefs. And we're setting groundwork to ensure that we don't go backwards, that we don't fall into those same positions again. And again, I know this is not my story to tell. So please bear with me as I try to do justice to a story that is not mine because I'm not Black and is not mine because I'm Canadian, not American, and I may not understand all the nuances. So I've been accused of being too much of a teacher. So I'm going to do this really quickly. You'll see 10 dates on the screen. And a lot of this helped me to understand how we got into the mess that we got ourselves into. In 1820, the state of Missouri, which is where Unity was founded, entered the Union, so the United States of America, as a slave state. That blew my mind. That so blew my mind that the US actually designated which states were going to be slave states, where slavery was accepted and part of the norm. And Maine was entered into the Union as a free state. And I don't know about the rest of you, but that I'm still struggling with that, to be quite honest. That there's that part of me, because all of my dad's side of the family is American. I don't get it. And I don't want to say it excuses the behavior, because I would like to think that we could be held to a higher standard. But when I found that out, and when I was down at the Welland Canal and they had a map of the Underground Railway, and there's Missouri in the same color as the other southern states where slavery had existed, and it's actually a little bit higher. So that hadn't crossed my mind that it was considered part of the South. Because to me, it's kind of north. You go straight across Indiana, Illinois to Missouri on the I-70. So with that knowledge that was the norm, that was the expectation, that was what was legal in the state of Missouri. Let's pick up the story with where unity is. So 1945 is when our co-founder Myrtle was born. 1854 is when our other co-founder Charles, her husband, was born. So they're young people when the US Civil War breaks out in 1861. In 1863, we have the Declaration of Emancipation. But, there's always a but. You ever notice that? But Missouri is exempt because at that point it was a border state. The US hadn't expanded west beyond it. And so it remained a slave state for another 2 years until 1865, when the 13th Amendment was written in and abolished slavery. It took 3 more years until the 14th Amendment granted Black Americans citizenship and guaranteed them equal protections of patui under the law. 2 years later, there is an exodus out of Missouri by Black people because white people are burning their schools. White people are burning their churches. White people are not hiring Black people. And so they up and leave. I put in 1889. That's an important date for unity. That is the year that we were founded. 1896. The U.S. Supreme Court rules in Plessy versus Ferguson that segregated facilities are constitutional if they are equal, enshrining the doctrine of separate but equal, and paving the way for Jim Crow laws that segregate public accommodations by race. Hotels, buses and trains, restrooms, drinking fountains, beaches, pools, and many other things. And that remains in place until 1954. In 1919, I was able to find that in the Unity magazine, there were listings for colored people study groups. We have a Unity Center for Black people opening in New York City the following year, 1920. In 1937, the annual conference includes licensed Unity teachers who are Black. The conference board agrees that Black teachers listed in Unity publications will no longer be labeled colored teacher. So that's quite a while before that happened. And we don't get Unity ministers ordained who are Black until 1952. And this is why I wanted to talk about strength and love, because these people had such strength of character and such willingness to, okay, why is my slide not moving? Okay, bear with me here. Huh. Okay. So I picked this topic because I think that this is probably a verse that folks would have held on to. Be courageous, be strong. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. Okay. Well, that is weird. For some reason, this show does not want to go forward.
Oh,
Don't know why. Ah, that's okay. That's okay. We're recording and I'll look at this someday and say, oh wow, that was a challenging day. And that's all right. That was share.
see if you can move it, Wendy, in the half screen instead of in the full screen.
Okay, yeah. All right. Reverend Helen Moulton. She pioneered Christ Unity Center in Los Angeles. And she became a licensed Unity teacher in 1947 and applied for the Unity Field Department in 1948, receiving her ordination in 1952. Remember, Jim Crow laws are still in effect, though, in many parts of the US. So there were a number of places, including at Unity headquarters, where segregation still existed. Reverend Corinne Smith, she was ordained 2 years later in 1958. She also became a licensed Unity teacher first, and she pioneered a Unity Center in Houston. And she received training from Charles and his second wife, Cora, which is significant to me that even though the laws said you're going to keep separated, there were opportunities for people to come together that encouraged a unity of color. Dr. James Elliott, L-U-T, he was actually a dentist. And he served at the Unity True Center in Chicago, Illinois, and Christ Unity Fellowship in Detroit. So northern areas where I'm sure things were still challenging. And perhaps he had a little easier time of it. I don't know. We don't have a lot of information on these folks. But what we have is useful to give us a snapshot of what Mid-America USA would have been like. So what do we know about unity? We know that there were a lot of things that continue to happen. That children who came from the northern area for the Youth of Unity or YOU conferences were not allowed to swim in the pool with their white counterparts. And at some point, there was an uprising of sorts in which it was said, either all the children swim together or we're all going home. And it's a painful time to think about. It's a painful thing to talk about, to know that we failed. And by me, I mean the unity movement generally, recognizing that none of us were personally responsible for that. We weren't there. I wasn't the lifeguard on duty saying, get out. And there's a history there. There's a history of hurt that we're still working on cleaning up and correcting. We have a number of ways that we've done this, and a lot of it is about perseverance. One of Unity's ministers, she went on to found her own organization, Reverend Johnny Coleman, was one of the people who broke this color barrier, because she was told that under the laws of the state of Missouri, she could not live on grounds with her colleagues, with her classmates. And so she had to live off grounds. And thankfully, her classmates raised up and said, no, that is not right. That is not who we are. That is not what we believe in. That is not what we teach. And she was able to come and live on grounds. A lot of what I've read about, and I could do hours of talks on Black History Month. One of the things that I learned about these people was they were so strong. They were so clear about their own worth, their own worthiness, even though the world was yelling at them and trying to drown that strength out. They continued to do that which they felt called to do, overcoming incredible odds, overcoming health challenges, overcoming redlining of real estate that said you can't live in this part of town. So let's fast forward to 1993. So over 100 years after Unity was founded. That was a time when the ministerial students started really focusing on the contributions of African Americans to the Unity movement. 10 years later, a joint statement called Enhancing the Dream is issued by Tom Zender, the CEO of Unity School as it was then, and Glenn Mosley, president and CEO of the Unity Association of Unity Churches, which is now Unity Worldwide Ministries, formally apologizing for the racial history of Unity and offering to conduct a healing ceremony. And the healing ceremony was held the following year as part of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Unity leaders apologized and acknowledged past discrimination against Black people. Is it perfect? There's still some stuff that pops up every so often. And one of the core foundational ministry pillars now is diversity, is the statement about we are inclusive in the truest way, and that we make sure that we are inclusive, not only of gender identity, race, culture, that we truly endeavor to create a safe space where people can be themselves, where I can be the person whose technology is just blowing up in her face today, and it's okay. And I can breathe through it, and you can see my frustration on my mind, on my face, and probably read my mind a few times. And know that I'm still safe in this space. I'm still welcome in this space. Hopefully I'm still loved, but that's up to you, not me. I'm loving myself and saying, you know what? It's okay. Life happens. So across Canada, we have had some of these things reflected. You know, Canadians sometimes like to think that we don't have racial stuff. Anyone who's on this call who isn't white and privileged will know that. And we can move forward from that. We can acknowledge the past errors and say, you know what? Let's bring this out. Let's have these discussions. Let's talk about times when I might have said something that was insensitive out of ignorance. I do not use language that is meant to insult. But I recognize I don't know everything. I don't know what it's like to live in a different color of skin. I don't know what it's like to be anyone but me. And with that consciousness of all of us being us, let us take a moment to bless not only Canada, but the US and the world as we move into our time of meditation. Knowing that each of us is a lighthouse. Knowing that each of us has the capacity to shine the light out so that folks know that there is a light. And at the same time, to shine the light towards the path, to highlight any dangerous shoals or rocks, sandbars, metaphysically, of course. But that as we move into a space of being more inclusive, of being more equitable, of attracting more diversity, and of ensuring that everyone can access our message, our love, and that which we each have to give. We move into this space of oneness. We hold in light and love for the month of February, Unity of Calgary and Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa. We see them as expressions of inclusivity, of diversity, of equity, and of accessibility. And in this consciousness, we bring into mind our monthly affirmations for the month of February. For inner peace, I relax and breathe in the peace of God. I relax and breathe in the peace of God. For guidance, as a creation of divine love and wisdom, I am guided in all that I do. As a creation of divine love and wisdom, I am guided in all that I do. For healing, my body is energized by the healing life of spirit. My body is energized by the healing life of spirit. For prosperity, I am a channel for the flow of abundance. I am a channel for the flow of abundance. And for world peace, open to infinite love, I practice peace. Open to infinite love, I practice peace. And as we spend some time in the silence, let us forgive ourselves for past errors, for past misbehaviors, when we didn't know any better. And now as we move forward in a greater consciousness, we know better and we will do better. And breathing into this forgiveness and illumination in the silence. And for this opportunity to come together, to grow together, to share together. We are so grateful. And so it is, and so it shall be.
Some days when I wake up, I look life in the eye. And some days for no reason, I'm terrified. But I feel you there beside me, and I know I can go on. Your love makes me strong. When I'm in the dark, you are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. When I feel like the world has come apart and life is trying hard to make me wrong, your love makes me strong. When I need to face my demons and vanquish them at last, pour out all my feelings and lose the past. When I need to end the suffering I've clung to for so long, your love makes me strong. When I'm in the dark, you are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. When I feel like the world has come apart and life is trying hard to make me wrong, your love makes me strong. You are the dawn. When I'm losing heart and hope is gone, your love makes me strong. You give me the power and the faith. You show me the way to carry on. Your love makes me strong. Your makes me strong.
For those of you who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please join us at our website. More information about us, upcoming events, downloads of material, lots of good stuff there. And also a way to support us financially. As with many ministries, Unity Halton Peel is 100% funded by voluntary donations, and we thank you for those that you have chosen to share. Coming next week, Reverend Dr. Jane Simmons returns. Love is what we are. Also starting next week on Valentine's Day, or as one of my friends pointed out, it's Valentine's Day, as we will be starting Ash Wednesday, and our Holy Book booklet will be, we'll have a discussion group starting from 2 till 3:30 p.m. Eastern. The Zoom code is on the screen. And it will be in our newsletter and elsewhere on the website. The week after, Reverend Barbara rejoins us, and she always has a great number of things to say. And our last Sunday, our fellow licensed Unity teacher, Debbie Long, will join us with Don't Believe Everything You Think. As always, Unity Halton Peel is a tithing ministry, and we share part of our income with Eden Food for Change. For those of you on the call, our lead chaplain, prayer chaplain Diane, is on the call, and she is available to provide prayer support. For those of you who are watching at a later time, you can reach out to her at praywithdiane@gmail.com. Some upcoming events to mark your calendar so you can book off your work time. The 2024 Unity Convention, The Mystical Journey, Wholeness, I Can See Clearly Now, June 17th to 20th at Unity Village in Missouri. I am loving what they are proposing for this year. There will be no business meeting. It is a open-ended event where you can choose to have some retreat time, or you can participate in workshops, and a lot more about self-care and not running from room to room to room for meetings and discussions. Also coming up in October, Unity Canada has just announced that our annual conference will be in person, and the annual general meeting will be there. October 18th to 20th, so that's the weekend after Thanksgiving. So mark your calendars, more details coming. I am aware that the team is just starting to get all of their ducks in a row, and it's going to be wonderful. If for no other reason than we haven't had a good in-person, or at least I haven't had a good in-person. I missed the last in-person conference. So I haven't had an in-person Canadian conference since 2018. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope I'll see you there as well. Reverend, no, you're not the Reverend. Board Pres, Patty, have I missed anything? Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Not from me, Wendy, sorry.
Okay, just checking. All right, as we bring our time together to a close, let us see in our mind's eye the children in our family, children in our neighborhood, the children in our towns and cities, the children in the world. We surround them with light and love and protection and prosperity. And we jointly say, children and youth of Unity and of the world, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you just the way you are. And we close this gathering with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, I am light. The love of God enfolds us, I am love. The power of God protects us, I am power. The presence of God watches over us, I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And Sue Riley will sing us out.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. Love's always present, it's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one tie that binds us, that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace in my family is growing because I choose love. Let love be present. what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one loving family, sharing one sun. I choose love. Yes, I do. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present. It's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.
Thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again real soon. Blessings.